I thought the divorce would be the end of the pain, but when I saw him next to her, smiling as if I had never existed, I realized that some truths don't die. They just wait for the right moment to destroy everything. What if the daughter he never wanted was the only proof he always lied? The champagne tasted like poison. Han Ji-woo stood at the edge of the ballroom, her divorce papers still warm in her purse, and watched the man she'd spent 5 years forgetting smile at another woman. Kang Minjay. He looked exactly the same. Sharp jaw, dark eyes that could cut through steel, the kind of presence that made everyone in the room unconsciously step back. He wore his power like a second skin. Expensive suit, cold confidence, the subtle bulge of a gun at his hip that no one dared mention. Next to him, Yoon-se-ra glowed. Perfect posture, perfect smile. The kind of woman who belonged in this world of blood and diamonds. Ji-woo's hand instinctively moved to her stomach. 3 months. Still hidden beneath her loose black dress. Nobody knew yet, not even her ex-husband, who'd signed the papers this morning without asking questions. "Did you hear?" A woman beside her whispered. Kang Minjay is finally settling down. His father must be relieved. Se-ra's family controls the southern ports. This marriage will end the territorial disputes. A love match and a business alliance. How rare. Ji-woo's vision blurred. Love match. She remembered his hands, gentle despite the scars. She remembered his voice, low and broken. Just tonight. Let's pretend we're not who we are. That was 5 years ago. A single night that created Suah. A single night that Minjay knew nothing about. And now he was getting married. The room tilted. Ji-woo tried to step back, but her legs betrayed her. The champagne glass slipped from her fingers. The crystal shattered. A sharp, violent sound that cut through the elegant music. Everyone turned, including Minjay. Their eyes met across the ballroom. For one terrible second, she saw recognition flicker in his gaze. Then it was gone, replaced by cold assessment. He didn't remember her, or he was pretending not to. Ji-woo's knees buckled. The last thing she heard before darkness swallowed her was Se-ra's concerned voice. "Someone call a doctor!" She woke to white walls and the smell of disinfectant. A private hospital room. Expensive. Someone had carried her here, paid for this, and that someone was currently sitting in the chair beside her bed. Kang Minjay. Alone. No fiancé. No guards. Just him, watching her with an expression she couldn't read. "You fainted at my engagement party," he said quietly. "My security team flagged you as a potential threat. They ran your background while you were unconscious." Ji-woo's heart stopped. Han Ji-woo, 29, divorce lawyer, finalized your own divorce this morning. His voice was completely neutral. "You don't belong in my world. So why were you there?" She forced herself to sit up, ignoring the IV in her arm. "I was invited. A colleague's +1. I didn't know you'd be there. Liar." The word was soft, deadly. Minjay leaned forward, elbows on his knees, and studied her face like he was solving a puzzle. "You looked at me like you'd seen a ghost, and then you collapsed. That's not a coincidence." "I'm anemic," Ji-woo said. "Low blood pressure. It happens. The doctor said you're pregnant." Her blood turned to ice. 3 months, Minjay continued, his eyes never leaving hers. "Which means you conceived while still married. Does your ex-husband know?" "That's none of your business." "You made it my business when you fainted at my engagement party." He stood, and the room suddenly felt smaller, suffocating. "I don't like mysteries, Ms. Han, and I don't like threats to my family's stability. So I'll ask you one more time. Why were you really there?" Ji-woo met his gaze, forced steel into her voice. "I told you. Wrong place, wrong time. I'm sorry I disrupted your celebration. It won't happen again." For a long moment, he said nothing. Then he pulled something from his pocket and placed it on the bedside table. A business card, his personal number written on the back in sharp, precise handwriting. "If you're in trouble," he said quietly, "call me." "Why would I be in trouble?" "Because women who collapse at mafia engagement parties usually are." He moved toward the door, then paused. "And Ms. Han, if I find out you're lying to me about why you were there, the consequences will be severe." The door closed behind him. Ji-woo stared at the business card, her hands shaking. He didn't remember her. That single night 5 years ago, the night that gave her Suah, meant nothing to him. But the DNA test her ex-husband had stolen from Suah's pediatrician file, the one he'd threatened to send to interested parties out of spite, that would mean everything. Ji-woo grabbed her phone with trembling fingers and dialed her daughter's babysitter. "Pack Suah's things," she whispered. "We're leaving Seoul tonight." Ji-woo never made it to the airport. She'd packed 2 suitcases, One for her, one for Sua. She'd withdrawn cash, bought train tickets to Busan under a fake name. She'd done everything right. Except underestimate how thoroughly Kang Minjay controlled Seoul. The black SUV blocked her taxi 3 blocks from her apartment. Men in dark suits emerged. Professional, efficient, terrifying. They didn't touch her, didn't threaten, just opened the door and waited. "Mr. Kang requests your presence," one said quietly. Jiwoo looked at the babysitter holding Sua in the apartment doorway, her daughter's sleepy face pressed against the woman's shoulder, unaware of the danger. "It's just me he wants," Jiwoo said. "Leave them alone. Just you," the man confirmed. She had no choice. They brought her to a penthouse overlooking the Han River, floor-to-ceiling windows, minimalist furniture, the kind of space designed to make you feel small. Minjay stood with his back to her, staring out at the city lights. On the glass coffee table between them, a manila envelope. Jiwoo's stomach dropped. "Your ex-husband is a vindictive man," Minjay said without turning around. "He sent this to my office 4 hours ago. Anonymous, but my people traced it back to him easily enough." He finally turned to face her. His expression was unreadable, but his hands, clenched at his sides, betrayed him. "Open it," he said quietly. "I don't need to. I know what's in there. Open it." Jiwoo's hands shook as she pulled out the contents. DNA test results. Sua's name at the top, and at the bottom, in clinical black and white, 99. 9% probability of paternity. Father, Kang Minjay. 4 years old, Minjay said, his voice dangerously soft. "You have a 4-year-old daughter, my daughter, and you never told me. You were building an empire," Jiwoo whispered. "You were becoming what your father wanted. A mafia boss. A killer. I couldn't bring a child into that world. So you married another man instead? Let him raise my child?" He never touched her. The marriage was on paper only. I needed legitimacy, protection, a normal life for Sua. Minjay crossed the room in 3 strides. He didn't touch her, but his presence was overwhelming. Rage barely contained beneath that cold exterior. "You don't get to make that decision for me," he said. "You don't get to erase me from my daughter's life because you decided I wasn't good enough to be her father. That's not 5 years ago," his voice cracked. "That night, you knew you were pregnant, and you disappeared. I found out 2 months later. You were already unreachable. Your father had promoted you. You were engaged to some politician's daughter. That engagement lasted 3 weeks. My father broke it off himself." Jiwoo froze. "You could have found me," Minjay continued. "You could have tried, but you didn't. You chose to keep her from me. I chose to keep her safe. From what? Me?" The question hung in the air between them. Jiwoo's eyes filled with tears. "Yes, from you. From this world. From men with guns and blood on their hands, and enemies who would use a child as leverage. I've seen what happens to mafia families, Minjay. I've represented the widows. I've drafted the custody agreements after the fathers are murdered. I wasn't going to let that happen to Sua." Silence. Minjay's jaw worked. When he finally spoke, his voice was hollow. "Does she know about me? No. Does she ask about her father? Sometimes. I tell her. I tell her he's away, working, that he loves her but can't be with us. Lies. Protective lies." Minjay turned away, hands in his pockets. For a long moment, he stared out at the city. "I'm getting married in 6 weeks, he finally said, to Sarah. It's a political alliance that took 2 years to negotiate. If I back out now, her family will see it as an insult. There will be war." Jiwoo's throat tightened. "I'm not asking you to back out. No, you're asking me to pretend my daughter doesn't exist. I'm asking you to let us disappear. We'll leave Seoul, change our names. You can marry Sarah and build your empire and what? Never see my child? Never know her? It's better than her growing up in danger." Minjay spun around, and the fury in his eyes made her step back. "You don't get to decide what's better for her anymore," he said. "I have rights, legal rights, and the power to enforce them. You wouldn't. Try me." It wasn't a threat. It was a promise. Jiwoo felt the walls closing in. "What do you want?" "I want what you stole from me. 5 years. First words, first steps, birthdays, everything." He moved closer. "But since I can't get that back, I'll settle for the future." "Meaning?" "Meaning you're not leaving Seoul. You're not taking my daughter away, and you're going to let me be part of her life. While you marry another woman? Sarah doesn't need to know. Not yet." Jiwoo stared at him. "You want me to help you lie to your fiancé? You're very good at lying, Ms. Han. You've had 5 years of practice. The cruelty in his voice cut deeper than any knife. I did what I thought was right, Jiwoo whispered. And I'm doing what I know is right. You'll bring Suah to meet me this weekend. Somewhere neutral. A park. You'll introduce me as a family friend. Someone who wants to spend time with her. And if I refuse? Minjay's smile was cold. Then I'll use every legal resource I have to take her from you. Custody battle. Character assassination. I'll prove you're an unfit mother who kept a child from her father. You'll lose her, Jiwoo, and you'll never see her again. Her knees nearly buckled. You wouldn't do that to her, ripping her away from the only parent she's ever known. You're right, I wouldn't. His voice softened, just barely. But I will do whatever it takes to be in my daughter's life, so we can do this the easy way. Cooperatively, carefully, for her sake. Or we can do it the hard way. Your choice. Jiwoo closed her eyes. She'd spent 5 years running from this moment, from him, from the truth, and now it had finally caught up to her. Saturday, she whispered. 2 p.m., Namsan Park, near the fountain. Minjay nodded once. I'll be there. He walked to the door, then paused. Jiwoo. His voice was quiet now, almost gentle. That night, 5 years ago. I remember it. Every second. I never forgot you. Her heart shattered. Then why didn't you find me? Because you asked me not to. The next morning, you said it was a mistake, that we lived in different worlds, that it couldn't happen again. He met her eyes. I respected your wishes. I let you go. The door closed behind him. Jiwoo collapsed onto the couch, hands over her face. She'd thought she was protecting Suah, but maybe she'd been protecting herself all along, from the one man who could destroy her completely. Suah wore her favorite yellow dress, the one with sunflowers. Jiwoo had braided her daughter's hair that morning with trembling hands, listening to Suah chatter about the park, about the ducks she wanted to feed, about whether they'd get ice cream after. Is your friend nice, Mama? Suah asked in the taxi. Very nice, Jiwoo lied. Does he like kids? I think so. Good. Because I'm going to show him my drawing of the rainbow I saw last week. Do you think he'll like it? Jiwoo's throat closed. I think he'll love it. Minjay was already at the fountain when they arrived. He stood apart from the Saturday crowd. Expensive, casual clothes, sunglasses hiding his eyes, hands in his pockets. To anyone else, he looked like a wealthy businessman enjoying a day off. Jiwoo knew better. She could see the tension in his shoulders, the way his jaw was set. This wasn't easy for him either. Suah noticed him immediately. Is that him, Mama? Yes, baby. He looks serious, like a superhero. Jiwoo's heart cracked. Minjay spotted them, removed his sunglasses, and for just a moment, his carefully controlled expression shattered, because Suah looked exactly like him. Same dark eyes, same sharp features softened by childhood, same way of tilting her head when curious. It was undeniable, devastating. Jiwoo watched him struggle to breathe. Suah, she said gently, kneeling beside her daughter. This is Mr. Kang. He's an old friend of Mama's. He wanted to meet you. Suah studied Minjay with the fearless curiosity of a 4-year-old. Hi, Mr. Kang. I'm Suah. I'm 4 3/4 years old. Do you like ducks? Minjay's voice, when it came, was rough. I do. Good, because we're going to feed them. Mama brought bread. She held out her small hand. You can come with us if you want. He stared at her hand like it was the most precious thing in the world. Then slowly, he took it. Jiwoo had to look away. They walked to the pond. Suah talked the entire time, about her preschool, her best friend Minseo, the stray cat she wasn't allowed to bring home, the song she was learning. Minjay listened with an intensity that was almost painful to watch. Mama says you work a lot, Suah said, throwing bread to the ducks. What do you do? Minjay glanced at Jiwoo. She gave the slightest shake of her head. I help people with business problems, he said carefully. That sounds boring. A ghost of a smile touched his lips. Sometimes it is. Do you have kids? The question landed like a bullet. No, Minjay said quietly. Not. I didn't think I did. Suah frowned. That's sad. Kids are fun. You should get some. Maybe I should. She looked up at him with those eyes, his eyes, and smiled. You could borrow me sometimes. If Mama says it's okay. I'm very good at sharing. Minjay's hand clenched around the bread bag. Jiwoo saw the exact moment he broke. Suah, he said, voice barely steady. Would you like to get ice cream? Yes. Mama, can we? Please? Jiwoo couldn't find her voice. She just nodded. At the ice cream cart, Sua chose strawberry. Minjay bought her 2 scoops, bought Jiwoo vanilla she didn't want. They sat on a bench while Sua chased pigeons, her laughter bright and careless. "She's perfect," Minjay said, not looking at Jiwoo. God, Jiwoo. She's perfect. I know. I missed everything." His voice cracked. Her first smile, her first word. "I missed everything." "Minjay, do you know what she would have been called? If I'd known? If I'd been there?" Jiwoo's hands twisted in her lap. "What?" "Kang-Sua. She would have had my name, my protection, everything I could give her. Instead, she's been hidden away like a secret I should be ashamed of." "I never said you should be ashamed. You treated her like she was." He finally looked at her, and his eyes were devastated. "You treated us like we were something to hide. I was trying to protect her from your world." "My world?" He laughed bitterly. "She's living in a cramped apartment in a dangerous neighborhood because you're paying off your mother's medical debts alone. You work 70-hour weeks. She barely sees you. Some protection." Jiwoo flinched. "I do my best. I know you do. But your best isn't enough anymore." He stood. "I'm going to be part of her life, Jiwoo. Really part of it. Not just Saturday afternoons in the park. You're getting married in 5 weeks, and I'll figure that out. But Sua comes first now. She should have always come first." Before Jiwoo could respond, Sua ran back, breathless and grinning. "Mr. Kang, I found a 4-leaf clover. That means good luck." She pressed the tiny plant into his hand. "You keep it, for your boring work." Minjay looked down at the clover, then at his daughter. "Thank you, Sua. I'll keep it safe. Promise?" "Promise." She hugged his leg, spontaneous, trusting, completely unaware of the storm she'd just created. Minjay's hand hovered over her head.
If you're listening to this right now, it's because this story has already pulled you in a little. But what you're hearing here is just a part of it. The full version includes 30 complete stories, no cuts. No ads, just the audio flowing while you listen. The QR code is on your screen now, or the link is pinned in the queue.
Then gently he touched her hair. Jiwoo watched her daughter embrace the father she didn't know she had, and realized she'd lost control of the situation completely. That night, after Sua was asleep, Jiwoo's phone rang. Unknown number. "Hello? Ms. Han." A woman's voice. Elegant. Cold. "This is Yoon-Sae-ra. I believe we need to talk." Jiwoo's blood froze. "I don't know what. My fiancé spent 4 hours today at Namsan Park. With you. And a little girl who looks remarkably like him." Sae-ra's voice was silk over steel. "I'm not a fool, Ms. Han. And I don't appreciate being made to look like one. I'm sorry, but this doesn't concern... It concerns me completely. Minjay is mine. The wedding is in 5 weeks, and I will not have some forgotten mistress and her bastard child destroying what took 2 years to build." The word bastard made Jiwoo see red. "Sua is not... I don't care what she is. I care that she and you disappear before you ruin everything." A pause. "I'm a reasonable woman, Ms. Han." "Name your price." "Excuse me? How much will it take for you to leave Seoul? 50 million won? 100 million? I'll wire it tonight. You take your daughter and vanish. Minjay never hears from you again." Jiwoo's hands shook with fury. She's his daughter. He has a right. He has obligations. To his family. To this alliance. To me. Sarah's voice hardened. "And if you think love will win here, you're delusional. Minjay will choose power. He always does. You're just a distraction he'll forget in 6 months. Then you have nothing to worry about." "Wrong. I have everything to worry about. Because men are sentimental about children. Even illegitimate ones." A cold laugh. "But accidents happen, Ms. Han. Children get sick. Custody cases get ugly. Evidence appears. I would hate for your daughter to become collateral damage in a war you can't win." The threat was clear. "If you touch her, I won't have to. You'll do the smart thing and leave on your own, because you love her. And you know what kind of life awaits her if she stays tangled in Minjay's world." Sae-ra's voice softened, almost kind. "Save her, Ms. Han, while you still can." The line went dead. Jiwoo stared at her phone, heart pounding. Then she looked at Sua's bedroom door and realized the nightmare had only just begun. Jiwoo didn't sleep. She sat at her kitchen table until dawn, staring at 2 plane tickets to Vancouver. One way. Fake passports her lawyer friend had arranged. No questions asked. Sua's backpack was already packed. Favorite stuffed rabbit. The drawing she'd made for Mr. Kang that she'd forgotten to give him. Jiwoo's hands trembled as she held the drawing. A little girl holding hands with a tall man, both smiling, hearts drawn in crayon above their heads. This is me and my new friend. He has sad eyes, but I will make him happy. The words were in Sua's wobbly 4-year-old handwriting. Jiwoo pressed her face into her hands and tried not to sob. Running was the smart choice, the safe choice. Sarah's threat wasn't empty. Women like her didn't make idle promises. And Minjay. He'd survive. He'd marry Sarah, build his empire, eventually forget about the daughter he'd known for one afternoon. Sua would grow up safe, normal, away from guns and blood and mafia politics. That's what mattered. So why couldn't Jiwoo stand up and finish packing? The knock on her door came at 6 a.m. Jiwoo's heart stopped. Too early for neighbors. Too early for anyone except... She opened the door. Minjay stood there, still in last night's clothes. He looked like he hadn't slept either. His knuckles were bruised. "What did Sarah say to you?" His voice was dangerously quiet. Jiwoo's throat closed. "I don't know what..." "Don't lie to me. Not now." He pushed past her into the apartment, saw the packed bags, the plane tickets on the table. His jaw clenched. "When were you planning to tell me you were taking my daughter and disappearing?" "How did you..." "I had your phone monitored after the park. Standard security protocol for anyone close to me." He picked up the tickets. "Vancouver. Smart choice. My reach doesn't extend well into Canada." Jiwoo snatched them back. "You have no right to monitor my calls." Sarah threatened Sua. It wasn't a question. Silence. What did she say? Minjay's voice dropped to something cold and lethal. "Exactly. It doesn't matter. I'm handling it. By running, by taking my daughter away the moment I find out she exists, by protecting her, which is more than you can do while you're marrying the woman who threatened her." Minjay flinched like she'd struck him. "You think I don't know that?" His control cracked. "You think I haven't spent the last 3 days trying to figure out how to keep both of them safe? The wedding, the alliance, Sarah's family. If I cancel now, there will be war. People will die. Innocent people. And if you go through with it, Sua pays the price. Not if I handle Sarah first." Jiwoo stared at him. "What does that mean?" Minjay's expression went blank. The mafia boss replacing the conflicted father. "It means you let me do what I do best. Neutralize threats. You can't kill your fiancé." "I'm not going to kill her. I'm going to give her a choice." He moved closer. "The same choice I'm giving you right now. Trust me or run. But know this, Jiwoo. If you get on that plane, I will find you. Maybe not today, maybe not this year, but eventually, I will find my daughter. And when I do, the custody battle will be brutal. You'd put Sua through that? Rip her away from everything she knows? You're putting her through it right now by making her run!" His voice rose. "She's 4 years old. She deserves stability. A home. Both her parents. You've been her parent for one afternoon." The words hung between them like a slap. Minjay's expression shuddered. When he spoke again, his voice was hollow. "You're right. I have no claim to her. Legally, I'm nothing. Just some man who spent 2 hours feeding ducks." He set something on the table, a folded piece of paper. "But I'm also the man who's been building a trust fund in her name since the DNA results came back. 300 million won. It's hers when she turns 18, whether you stay or go." Jiwoo's hands shook as she unfolded the document. It was real, legal, irrevocable. "I'm also the man who had my lawyers draft a will naming her my sole heir. If something happens to me, everything goes to Kang Sua, not my father, not the family business. Her." He met her eyes. "I've known about my daughter for 4 days, Jiwoo, and I've already rearranged my entire life around protecting her, so don't tell me I'm not her father." Jiwoo couldn't breathe. "I'm calling off the wedding," Minjay said quietly. "You can't." "I can. I will. Tonight I'm meeting with Sarah's father. I'll offer them territorial concessions. Money. Whatever it takes to end this alliance without bloodshed." His voice hardened. "But I won't marry a woman who threatened my child. I don't care what it costs me. Your father will never forgive you. My father is dying. Cancer. He has 6 months. Maybe less. He wanted this marriage to secure his legacy before he goes." Minjay's expression was carved from stone. "But my legacy is sleeping in the next room, and I won't sacrifice her for his empire." Jiwoo's vision blurred with tears. "Why?" she whispered. "You barely know her. One afternoon, Minjay. That's all you've had. Why would you risk everything for..." "Because she's mine. Simple. Absolute. And because when she handed me that 4-leaf clover and said it would bring good luck, I realized I've been living without luck my entire life, without joy, without anything that mattered. He stepped closer. She matters. More than territory, more than alliances, more than anything. His hand lifted, hesitated, then gently wiped a tear from Jiwoo's cheek. Stay, he said softly. Give me a chance to be her father. Really be it. Not just weekends in the park. I want to read her bedtime stories. I want to know what she's afraid of, what makes her laugh. I want to be there when she's sick, when she's scared, when she accomplishes something amazing. His voice broke. I want what you stole from me, and I'm willing to burn down everything I've built to get it. Jiwoo closed her eyes. Behind Sua's door, she heard her daughter stirring. Morning sounds, small feet hitting the floor. If Sarah's family retaliates, let them try. I've been at war my whole life. One more won't break me. And your father? Will die disappointed. He's been disappointed in me before. Sua's door opened. She patted out in her pajamas, rubbing her eyes. Saw Minjay. Her whole face lit up. Mr. Kang, did you come for breakfast? Mama makes really good pancakes. Minjay looked at Jiwoo, a question in his eyes. She took a shaky breath, then walked to the stove and pulled out the pancake mix. I hope you like blueberries, she said quietly. Minjay's smile was small, devastated, grateful. I like whatever Sua likes. The meeting with Sarah's father lasted 17 minutes. Minjay offered him the southern ports. Full control. No strings attached. Chairman Yoon laughed in his face. You think I want your territory? The old man's eyes were ice. I want your humiliation. You made my daughter look like a fool. Jilted at the altar for some whore and her bastard child. Minjay's fist slammed into the table. Call them that again. See what happens. Or what? You'll start a war you can't win? Yoon leaned back, smiling. You're weak, Kang Minjay. Your father always said so. Soft heart in a hard business. It'll get you killed. My father also built this empire from nothing. I learned from him. And now you're throwing it away for a woman who lied to you for 5 years and a child you've known for 4 days. Yoon stood. Here's my counter-offer. Marry Sarah as planned. Keep your bastard on the side. We'll pretend she doesn't exist. Everyone wins. No. Then there will be consequences. I'm counting on it. Yoon's expression darkened. You're making an enemy you can't afford, boy. I've had enemies my whole life. What's one more? The chairman left without another word. Minjay sat alone in the conference room, hands shaking, and wondered if he'd just signed his own death warrant. The retaliation came fast. 3 shipments intercepted, 2 warehouses burned, 5 of Minjay's men hospitalized. Yoon wasn't playing. This was war. Minjay's father summoned him to the family estate. The old man sat in his study, oxygen tank hissing, face gaunt from chemo. You stupid, sentimental fool, he rasped. I spent 2 years building that alliance. 2 years. And you destroyed it for what? A woman? A child? My child. Father. A bastard. An inconvenience. You should have paid the mother off and forgotten her. Minjay's jaw clenched. Is that what you would have done? I did do it. 3 times. Women who got pregnant thinking they could trap me into marriage. I gave them money and made them disappear. His father's smile was cruel. You think you're the only one with secrets? The words landed like bullets. You have other children? Had. 1 died in a car accident. 1 overdosed. The 3rd. His father shrugged. Who knows? I paid her mother to leave the country. That was 20 years ago. Minjay felt sick. You abandoned your own children. I chose power over sentiment. That's what leaders do. That's what you should have done. Then I'm not the leader you wanted me to be. His father's laugh turned into a wet cough. No, you're not. You're weak, just like your mother was. My mother loved you, and it killed her. Love is a weakness, Minjay. The moment you let yourself care about that woman and her child, you handed your enemies a weapon. He leaned forward. Yoon will use them to destroy you. And when you're broken and begging, remember, I warned you. Minjay stood. I'd rather be destroyed loving my daughter than live your life, alone, dying with nothing but money and regret. Get out. Gladly. At the door, Minjay paused. For what it's worth, father, Sua is the best thing I've ever been part of creating. Better than this empire. Better than anything you built. And if you'd met her, you might have understood why she's worth everything. His father said nothing. Minjay closed the door and never looked back. Jiwoo was waiting when he got home. Not her apartment. His penthouse. She'd brought Sua after the 3rd warehouse burned, after Minjay's security team insisted they'd be safer in his building. Suah was asleep on his couch, covered with a blanket, clutching her stuffed rabbit. Your father, Jiwoo asked quietly, disowned me, officially, removed me from the will, cut me off from the family business. Her face went pale. Minjay, I have my own accounts, my own holdings, things my father doesn't control. We'll be fine. He poured himself a drink, but Yoon's not stopping. 2 more attacks tonight. He's trying to break me. Then maybe we should… No. Minjay set down the glass. No running, no hiding. I told you I'd protect you both, and I meant it. At what cost? Your empire, your life, if that's what it takes. Jiwoo crossed to him, eyes blazing. You can't martyr yourself for us. Suah needs a father who's alive, not a dead hero she'll never remember. She'll remember me. His voice was fierce. I'll make sure of it. Every day I have with her, I'll make it count. And when she's old enough to understand, she'll know I chose her. Always. Minjay, he pulled her close. Not romantic. Desperate. I've lived 32 years without knowing real fear, he whispered against her hair. I've faced down rival bosses, assassination attempts, impossible odds. Nothing scared me. But the thought of losing her, of failing to protect her, that terrifies me. Jiwoo's arms came around him. You're not failing. You're fighting. That's all any parent can do. Is it enough? It has to be. They stood like that, holding each other, until Suah stirred on the couch. Mama? Her sleepy voice. Why are you hugging Mr. Kang? They pulled apart. Jiwoo smoothed her dress. Just saying goodnight, baby. Suah sat up, rubbing her eyes. Looked at Minjay. Are you sad again? His throat closed. A little. I can fix it. She climbed off the couch, went to her backpack, and pulled out the drawing. The one Jiwoo had packed for Vancouver. I made this for you. It's us. Being friends. Minjay took the paper with shaking hands. You made me smile in the drawing, he said softly. Because you should smile more. Smiling is better than being sad. She yawned. Can I sleep in your room? The couch is too lumpy. Minjay looked at Jiwoo. She nodded. Come on, he said, lifting Suah into his arms. I'll show you where the bedroom is. Do you have stuffed animals? I only brought Mr. Floppy. No, but we can fix that tomorrow. Really? Can I pick anyone I want? Anyone. Even a giant panda? Even a giant panda. Her delighted giggle echoed through the penthouse. Jiwoo watched them disappear into the bedroom, her heart breaking and healing at the same time. Minjay was sacrificing everything for a daughter he barely knew. And somehow, impossibly, it was the most beautiful thing she'd ever seen. Later that night, after Suah was asleep, they sat on the balcony. The city sprawled below them, beautiful and dangerous. Sarah called me today, Jiwoo said quietly. Minjay tensed. What did she say? That she still loves you. That if I walked away, she'd convince her father to stop the attacks. You could have your empire back. Everything could go back to normal. And you said? I told her to go to hell. Jiwoo met his eyes. Because you're not a prize to be won or lost. You're Suah's father, and she needs you more than Sarah ever did. Minjay's hand found hers. I need to tell you something. About that night. 5 years ago. Minjay, I wasn't just running from family obligations. I was running from myself, from the person I was becoming. And you saw me. Not the boss, not the heir, just me. His voice roughened. I knew even then it was more than one night. But I was too much of a coward to fight for it. You respected my choice. I hid behind your choice, because admitting I wanted you meant admitting weakness, and my father taught me weakness gets you killed. He turned to her, but he was wrong. Suah isn't weakness. You're not weakness. You're the only real thing I've ever had. Jiwoo's breath caught. I'm not asking you to love me, Minjay continued. I don't deserve that yet. Maybe I never will. But I'm asking you to let me prove I can be the man you both need. The father she deserves. The partner you… She kissed him. Not gentle, not tentative. 5 years of buried feelings crashing through every wall she'd built. When they finally pulled apart, both breathing hard, Jiwoo whispered, You already are. 3 weeks passed. Minjay moved Jiwoo and Suah into a secure apartment. Armored windows, private security, untraceable location. Yoon's attacks continued, but they were surviving. Suah started calling him Uncle Minjay. It broke his heart every time. But Jiwoo said they needed to wait, let her adjust. Earn the title of father, slowly. He was trying. God, he was trying. Bedtime stories. pancake breakfasts, teaching her to play chess with pieces she kept trying to make dance instead of following rules. Every small moment felt like stealing something precious from a life he'd almost never had. But Yoon wasn't finished. The call came at midnight. Minjay's head of security, voice tight with urgency. "Sir, we have a situation. Someone breached the outer perimeter. Guards are down. We need to evacuate now." Minjay was already moving, grabbing his gun from the safe. "Where's the breach?" "East stairwell. They're coming up fast." "Professional team. At least 6 men. Get Jiwoo and Suah to the safe room. Now." He burst into the bedroom. Jiwoo was already awake, Suah in her arms. "What's happening?" Her voice was steady, but her eyes showed terror. "Yoon sent a team. We need to move." He guided them toward the reinforced panic room hidden behind the bookshelf. "Get inside. Don't open it for anyone but me. Code word is sunflower. Minjay, I'll handle this, I promise." He kissed Suah's forehead. The little girl was still half asleep, confused. "Be brave for Mama, okay?" The bookshelf slid shut behind them. Minjay turned to face the hallway. 6 men. He had 4 guards left. Not good odds, but he'd survived worse. The firefight lasted 8 minutes. Bullets tore through his penthouse, shattered glass, splintered wood. Minjay moved like his father had trained him. Efficient, brutal, unforgiving. 3 attackers down, 2 of his guards dead. Then he saw the leader. Not one of Yoon's usual thugs. Someone else. Expensive suit. Cold precision. Recognition hit like ice water. Jung-ho, his father's most trusted lieutenant. The man who'd taught Minjay how to shoot when he was 12. "Orders are orders," Jung-ho said quietly. "Your father wants you to understand consequences. My father sent you to kill me? To scare you. To remind you what happens when you choose sentiment over family." Jung-ho lowered his weapon slightly. "He said if you renounce the girl, come back to the family, he'll call off Yoon. Everything goes back to normal. And if I refuse, then I complete my mission. The woman and child die. You watch. Then you die too." Minjay's hands shook with rage. He'd kill his own granddaughter? He doesn't see her that way. She's leverage. Nothing more. Jung-ho's expression was almost pitiful. "You can still walk away, Minjay. Choose the empire. Choose power. Let them go." Behind the bookshelf, Suah was safe, unaware that her own grandfather had ordered her death. Minjay raised his gun. "You taught me how to shoot," he said quietly. "You also taught me that real strength isn't following orders. It's knowing when to break them. Don't do this." Minjay fired. Jung-ho dropped. The remaining attackers fled. Silence. Minjay stood in the wreckage of his home, gun still raised, and felt something inside him shatter completely. His father had tried to murder his own grandchild. There was no going back from that. He opened the safe room. "Sunflower," he said hoarsely. The door slid open. Jiwoo emerged, Suah clinging to her neck. "Is it over?" Jiwoo whispered. "For now," but they both knew the truth. It would never really be over. Not while his father lived. Not while Yoon wanted revenge. Not while they stayed in Seoul. Suah lifted her head from Jiwoo's shoulder, saw the blood on Minjay's shirt. "Uncle Minjay, are you hurt?" His throat closed. "No, sweetheart. I'm okay. You promise?" He pulled them both close, breathed in the scent of them. The only real thing in his entire broken life. "I promise." But even as he said it, he was making calculations. His father's estate was 40 minutes away, heavily guarded, nearly impenetrable. Nearly. "Jiwoo," he said quietly, "I need you to take Suah and leave Seoul. Tonight. I have a safe house in Jeju. My people will take you there." "What?" "No, we're not leaving you. I'm ending this. Once and for all." Understanding dawned in her eyes. Horror followed. "You're going to kill your father. I'm going to stop him from killing my daughter. There's a difference. Minjay, you can't." "I can. I will." He cupped her face. "He sent men to murder you both. My own father. There's no reasoning with that. No negotiating. This ends tonight. And if you die trying, then Suah will inherit everything. The trust fund, the holdings. She'll be protected, rich, safe." His voice cracked. "And she'll know her father loved her enough to sacrifice everything." Jiwoo's tears fell freely. "She needs you alive, you stubborn fool. She needs to be safe more." Suah squirmed between them. "Why is everyone crying?" Minjay knelt down to her level, memorized her face, those eyes that mirrored his own. "Suah, I need you to do something for me. Can you be very brave?" She nodded, serious. "Go with Mama on an adventure tonight, to a beach house. There are dolphins there. and you can collect seashells. Will you come too? Soon. I have to finish some work first. The boring business stuff? A broken laugh. Yeah, the boring business stuff. She hugged him tight. Okay, but come fast. I'll save you the best seashell. Deal. He kissed the top of her head, then stood and looked at Jiwoo. 3 hours. My people will be here. Don't wait for me. Minjay, if something happens to me, tell her I loved her, that I chose her over everything, that she made me want to be better than I was. Tell her yourself when you come back. I will. He kissed her, deep and desperate. I love you. I should have said it 5 years ago. I'm saying it now. Then he was gone. Out the door. Into the night. Toward his father's estate and a reckoning that had been building for 32 years. Jiwoo stood in the destroyed penthouse, holding Suah, and prayed to God she didn't believe and that he'd survive. Minjay arrived at his father's estate at 3 a.m. Security was tight, but he knew every weakness, every blind spot. His father had taught him too well. He made it to the study where the old man sat, oxygen tank hissing, waiting. I knew you'd come, his father rasped. Sentiment makes you predictable. Minjay raised his gun. This ends tonight. You won't shoot me. You're not strong enough. You tried to kill my daughter. I tried to free you from a mistake. His father's smile was cruel. But you're too weak to see it.
Maybe you're listening to this while doing something simple. Washing dishes, tidying up, trying to relax. And that's exactly why these stories work. When you unlock full access, you get 30 stories. Over 30 hours of audio with no interruptions. You press play, and the story just keeps going. If you want to continue right now, scan the QR code on your SC, or tap the link in the pinned comment. What was never said continues there.
Just like I always knew. Minjay's finger tightened on the trigger, and then a voice from the doorway. Don't. Minjay spun. Sarah stood there, gun in her hand, pointed not at him, but at his father. This is my kill, she said softly. He promised me an empire. Instead, he made me a laughingstock. Do you know what that costs a woman in our world? Sarah, what are you? Shut up, Minjay. Her eyes never left the old man. You're not the only one he wronged. You're not the only one owed revenge. She fired. Once, twice, 3 times. Minjay's father slumped in his chair, eyes wide with shock, blood spreading across his expensive shirt, dead before he hit the ground. Sarah lowered her weapon, looked at Minjay. Now we're even, she said. You ruined my wedding. I gave you your freedom. A cold smile. And the empire is mine. My father and I made a deal. Your father's territory, his holdings, all of it transfers to the Yoon family now that he's dead. Minjay's blood ran cold. You planned this. From the moment you chose that woman over me. Did you really think I'd just let you walk away? She moved closer. I loved you, Minjay. I would have given you everything, but you chose her. You chose that bastard child. So I took everything instead. You're insane. I'm practical. Your father was dying anyway. 6 months, maybe less. I just accelerated the timeline. She tilted her head. And now, with him gone, there's a power vacuum. One I intend to fill. The other families won't accept you. They will when I marry the rightful heir. You. Her smile widened. That's the deal, Minjay. Marry me. Legitimize my claim. And your woman and child live. Refuse. And accidents happen. Car crashes. Gas leaks. Children drown in bathtubs. Minjay raised his gun. I'll kill you right now. And be executed for double murder? Your daughter grows up knowing her father died a killer? Sarah shook her head. You won't risk that. You love her too much. She was right. God help him, she was right. 1 week, Sarah said, turning to leave. I'll give you 1 week to decide. Empire and your daughter's safety, or love and her death. Choose wisely. The door closed behind her. Minjay stood alone with his father's corpse and the ruins of everything he'd tried to build, and realized the nightmare had only just begun. Minjay has 1 week to choose. Marry his enemy or watch his daughter die. If this video hits 3,000 views in 24 hours and gets 20+ comments, I'll release Chapter 07 today. Drop a comment with your theory. Will Minjay marry Sarah to save Suah? Or will Jiwoo sacrifice herself first? Comment now to unlock the next chapter.